Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention for a second, we do have a number of seats remaining in the chapel now that we have the family seated. So I'll ask for anyone who is an extended family member, or perhaps if you are better to be inside rather than outside in this breeze due to your medical conditions, then if you'd care to make your way in, we've got a seating for about 10 or 15 people. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jennifer Broadbent, and it's my privilege to lead this service today as we gather to say farewell to Margaret Lorraine Saville, perhaps known to you as Marg, Gert, or Nan. On behalf of her family, I thank you for your attendance. At her family's request, I will be referring to Margaret as Marg throughout this service. You are here today to seek comfort and healing, and you are here to remember and farewell Marg, who has left your world, leaving an aching emptiness in the hearts of all who knew and loved her. Marg was a very giving person of her time and, more importantly, of herself. Marg was a loving wife, mother and friend, always loving and supporting those around her. Frequently, we go through life and face situations that are beyond our comprehension. Not only do we question our own beliefs and our way of thinking, surprisingly, we question our own actions. Nothing seems to dispel the colossal build-up of confusing emotions, apprehension and disbelief. Nothing seems to bring relief, and we at times feel utterly helpless and adrift at the death of a loved one. Yet one day, I assure you, a light will glow in loving kindness and warmth. Gentleness will be celebrated as strength and hope will blossom. In time, the loss and sadness will pass. It will pass, and the sun will shine again. Marg was the much-loved wife of Mick, mother of Nathan and Aaron, mother-in-law of Therese and doting Nan of Mitchell, Joshua, Kendra, Lucas, and Kelsey. On behalf of everyone here today, I offer our sincere condolences. Our thoughts are also with Marg's siblings, Pam deceased, Dawn, Dot, Anne and Ian, her brother-in-law Gary and sister-in-law Lorraine, extended family members and special friends. No words of comfort can soften the shock when faced with illness and death. We can never understand why the natural order of life has been disrupted. However, we can be understanding and supportive of each other. We can take a leaf from Marg's book and be aware of our fellow man during the weeks and months ahead. Speak to her from time to time. Tell her that you miss her. Tell her you were glad she was part of your life. Remember the times that you felt love, joy and happiness. Hold her face in your heart and tell her you will always remember her. Remember her laughter. Remember her caring ways and her determined spirit. Remember the happy times you shared. Roll them out, smile at them, and hold them tight within you. We should also feel proud, happy and strengthened by Marg's defiance of whatever problems she encountered and the courageous way in which she dealt with them. Marg had a depth of feeling that was uniquely her own. Her spirit and her passion will now become a living part of your memory. She will live on in your hearts and minds, not just a recollection, but a living part of your future as well, as her life was woven into your history. According to Mick and her family, Marg was someone who didn't like a lot of fuss and bother. I was told she could be quite stubborn when she wanted to be, and that she was a kind and loving person to those she considered her friends. Mostly, though, our conversation revolved around Marg's love for her family, especially her grandchildren. She adored them, and spending time with them was a delight for them and for Marg. I share with you a poem that the family chose for today. It's called Legacy of Love. A wife, a mother, a nan too. This is the legacy we have from you. You taught us love and how to fight. You gave us strength. You gave us might. A stronger person would be hard to find, and in your heart you were always kind. You fought for us all in one way or another, not just as a wife, not just as a mother. For all of us you gave your best. Now the time has come for you to rest. So go in peace, you've earned your sleep. Your love in our hearts will eternally keep. I'd now like to invite Marg's brother Ian to come forward, please, who's going to share with us Marg's eulogy. Thank you.
Margaret Lorraine Saville Miller, fourth daughter, born to Linda and Patrick Miller, 20th of August 1954 in Euroa. Sister of Pam, deceased, Dawn, Dorothy, Anne and myself. Early memories include fishing, shooting, rabbiting and mushrooming. This was with cousins at Uncle Bob, Billy and Colin Dunstan, who would travel up from Melbourne and stay in the caravan. Another little Sunday adventure was when Percy Mackerel had the horse and cart, and we would always enjoy a ride up to the property that was called Tom Ferguson's. Sunday school in the early days was always, I think it was more for Mabel Simpson because she always used to have a jar full of boiled lollies. And Sunday was also the day that the family would get together for a Sunday roast dinner. Christmas time was also spent at Stella Reinspoon's. The best part was the plum pudding, to see who could find the most Christmases, but unfortunately you had to give them back. Margaret's schooling commenced at the Strathbogie State School, number 2181, then was followed by going to the Euroa High School, where Margaret left school after completing Form 5. Margaret played squash, tennis and netball, and I am sure many have memories of playing alongside her or as an opponent. Her hobbies included craft, and she would have many outings travelling all over Victoria. She also liked reading books, knitting and crocheting, but the main hobby was a pride and joy, and that was, of course, her garden. Margaret's employment started at the Egg Board in Euroa. She also worked at Tess and Trim's. She cleaned the medical centre. And lastly, but not least, Margaret was employed at Albert's Cafe for quite some time. Just talking to Andrew, Margaret was a well-respected worker, and I also think she'd become part of the Albert Cafe family. I would like to send a special heartfelt thanks for the support that has been shown to Margaret and Mick through the tough times, and I believe the ongoing generous and support will continue. When Marg was working at the Egg Board, it was that time when Andrew came into Marg's life, and that was the start of a long and happy relationship for both of them. As Andrew had to get Dad's permission to ask for Margaret's hand in marriage, most dads give you the third degree. But Dad's response was, that's fine, but once you take her out the door, it will be your responsibility, no coming back. Their lives developed and they were married on the 1st of February 1975. The family was extended by the birth of Nathan on the 16th of July 1979, then followed by Aaron, born on the 8th of December 1981. Travels for Margaret and Andrew and the family included trips to Perth, the Hawkesbury River, as well as the Grampians. Unfortunately, in 2016, as most are aware, Margie received a kidney transplant, and once again, the overwhelming support that was shown by family and friends need a special mention as well. As stated before, Sis was a no-fuss sister. Her motto was, you look after yourself, I will look after you too, and I will be all right. Always putting others before she worried about herself. And that, Sis, is my little piece. You can't blame Andrew for that. In finishing on the joys in my sister's life, there was nothing more apart from a garden, apart from the love that she had for her grandchildren. She loved them all dearly. I can remember the last couple of days in hospital when the kids entered the room. You could see her eyes sparkle, you could see her smile, and a hand would reach out to them for the ones she loved. Rest in peace, love, sister.
Now I'd like to ask Nathan to come forward, please, who has a tribute that he'd like to share and tributes from others, I believe.
I'd like to start with a few words from Dad. Long before their bodies existed, their souls had already planned to be together. From the flats of Euroa to the hills of Strathbogie, they travelled until they found each other. At first they crawled, and then we walked, and then, my friends, we begun to talk. She spoke my words, she knew my thoughts, and only she could rule my courts. Our plans for now, plans for later, will be ours to share together. Because the future held them in its hands, so only it could know our plan. She took my hand, and I took hers. And then we made our safest haven. Every day we said good morning. And every day we said good night. Love was always in first sight, as I had found my angel that night. We picked an apple from a tree. We broke a rule, or maybe three. The book of love is one to read. If you're lucky, just like me. But as we grew, we did not know what the universe had to show. The challenges that we survived linger as they may still thrive. But I always thought we would survive as we stood the test of time. The hardest thing I've had to do is say goodbye to the one I knew. I lost my angel, don't you see? Never fear the one to be. Trust her smile, believe her thoughts, and she will calm your second thoughts. I miss her smile, I miss her lips, I miss the things that no longer exist. Talking like we used to do, it was only me and you. Our memories will be the same as her and I, we thought the same. So I was once just like you, I had found my soulmate too. Don't think twice or question what's there, just share your love and be a pair. Now I'd like to say some words on behalf of my brother and I. To say goodbye to a life that's given you life is the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing I've had to do. To watch the strength of our mum and to be brought up under such a person with such high morals and emotional intelligence that was shown over and over as she put the interest of others always first has been a blessing. As children, you don't really realise what you've been through until or what you're taught until later in life. I experienced this morning. When I was sewing a button and ironing my clothes, I could still hear her say, "Just give it to me." As you needed a qualification to sew a button on your shirt. But she still would have been proud. If things aren't done right, then don't do it, she would say. We wouldn't have had it any other way. We will miss her dearly. The time, help, and advice she gave family and friends, time after time, will never be forgotten. The moment she would pull you back into reality and tell you to think before you act will never be forgotten. The endless moments she would go out of her way to help others before she helped herself will never be forgotten. The pure strength she had and the fight she gave without a word of pain will never be forgotten. Her soul and spirit was pure, and that will never be forgotten. She will never be forgotten as a loving wife, mother, grandmother, sister, and loyal friend to many. I'd now like to read memories from her sister, Dorothy. No words I write today can explain the sadness I have felt since your passing or how much I will miss you. I have always admired your determination and strength to carry on with what became your normal life. No matter what life threw at you, you always looked forward to the time ahead. Ideas about what craft projects you wanted to do next, what new plants we could get from Bunnings. Family events were always planned. We had even discussed Christmas this year. I will miss our chats about craft projects on the go. Plants and gardening, both of which you loved and enjoyed. I will miss our shopping trips around Chet when you came to stay. There was always an extra bag to take home when Mick would come to pick you up. Marg, our family loved you, and we'll miss you very much. Forever at peace. I would like to thank all our family and friends for their support. I'd also like to thank again Tanya and John and the Alberts team for their support and hospitality today. Your efforts and actions are very much appreciated. Thank you all.
Thank you, Nathan. Now I have a tribute here from Marg's Craft Girls, and some of Marg's craft items will be on display at the Bowls Club for you to see later today. Craft sewing groups have been a big part of Marg's life, which saw her create some amazing work: knitting, crocheting, sewing, patchwork quilting and embroidery. All of these crafts led Marg to make not only family treasures like little Christmas baubles for her grandchildren, but to also contribute to a lot of charity work for COGO, an Australian organisation for the benefit of those less fortunate than others, making hats, socks, scarves and blankets. Marg's work also included making Premier Baby cherished memory quilts, and also jackets, hats and booties for hospitals in Canberra and Melbourne. Many a road trip was undertaken to various parts of the state in search of that just right piece of fabric or pattern that we all just had to have. Such trips included trips to Melbourne on the train going to the annual quilt show. Marg was like the mother duck, leading her ducklings on an adventure, making sure that we all kept to time, caught the right tram and reached our destination. A lot of fun was had on the train and at the show. We can just hear her now. "Kazza, have a look at this. We could make this." And the purchase was in the bag. Marg gained a lot of her talent by taking part of classes with Velda Martin, Nana Pats, and her mother-in-law Elma, which Marg was only too happy to pass on to all of her craft groups. We all have a lot of individual memories of Marg over the years. Some Mick knows about, and some he doesn't need to know about. A lot of laughs, a lot of failures, unsewing, unknitting and uncrocheting errors, and unfinished projects. Rest in peace, Marg. We will miss you more than you will know. We're going to pause the service for a few moments now for you to have some own private memories of Marg, a time to reflect and remember some special times that you may have shared with her. We will be watching a slideshow of treasured family photographs as we listen to the songs Supermarket Flowers by Ed Sheeran and On the Wings of an Eagle by Russell Morris. For those of you who wish to, please use this time to say a silent prayer. These next few moments are yours. We're just having a little bit of a technology glitch, and Broderick will have it all sorted shortly. I might just continue on for a few moments. As you are all aware, Marg passed away peacefully at the Shepparton Private Hospital on the 12th of April after a 4-year battle with cancer. And as was spoken in her eulogy, Marg was the recipient of a kidney transplant in 2016. This wonderful gift enabled Marg more time with her family. It enabled her to return to work, and it enabled her to make new, lifelong friends. On behalf of Mick and her grateful family, I acknowledge all the medical professionals who cared for Marg during the past 7.5 years. And I thank all of you for your support here today and for your friendship over the years. You are all invited to remember Marg at the Arawa Bowls Club at the conclusion of this service. And I share with you a poem written for today. It's called One at Rest. Think of me as one at rest. For me you should not weep. I have no pain, no troubled thoughts, for I am just asleep. The living thinking me that was is now forever still, and life goes on without me now, as time forever will. If your heart is heavy now because I've gone away, dwell not long upon it, friend, for none of us can stay. Those of you who liked me, I sincerely thank you all. And those of you who loved me, I thank you most of all. And in my fleeting lifespan, as time went rushing by, I found some time to hesitate, to laugh, to love, to cry. Matters it now if time began, if time will ever cease. I was here, I used it all, and now I am at peace. Today you have come together to honour Marg, who she was in her life and in your lives. And it is through each of you that her memory stays alive and what she stood for will be carried forth. Be glad today that Marg shared her life with you all. Be glad you saw her face and felt the warmth and comfort of her hand and hugs. Cherish the memory of her selflessness. Cherish the memory of her family life, of her love and care, of her vitality and involvement, and of her loyalty to her family. Cherish her friendship, and most of all, cherish her love. We do apologise, ladies and gentlemen. The audio has decided that it wants to reboot itself, so we'll just have to be patient for a few moments. Thank you. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. I think we may have solved the issue. Perhaps not. Okay. So, yeah. Okay, thank you, Broderick. Ladies and gentlemen, the slideshow and the music will be played at the wake, so perhaps we might just continue on and you'll all be able to view it at a later date. And on behalf of Broderick and Floyd Funerals, we really do apologise. I hope Marg had a good sense of humour. Yeah, Mick's agreeing. Yes, she had a good sense of humour, so... Ladies and gentlemen, it was Marg's wish for a private cremation, and in keeping with her wishes for a service not too long and drawn out, I share with you the words of committal. To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose on earth, a time to be born and a time to die. Here in this last act, in sorrow but without fear, with love and appreciation, we commit Margaret Lorraine Saville to the purifying elements, earth to end, dust to dust. Her journey here on earth has ended, beginning in another realm. Ladies and gentlemen, our service here today has come to an end. I ask you to please stand as Marg leaves the chapel for her final journey. We have been remembering with love and gratitude a life that has ended. Thinking of Marg, let us leave this place in quietness, with love and caring for one another, and may peace go with you all. Thank you. Please stand, ladies and gentlemen.
Of love is long and boring. No one can lift a damn thing. It's full of charts and facts and figures and instructions for dancing. I find myself lifted through the skies, lifted up above the world to see. See me, can you see me? As the days roll on and the nights get long, the changing of the seasons and the falling autumn leaves, they bring me down, they bring me down, they bring me down.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be soon heading to the Bowls Club, so I'll ask you to get into your vehicles and form up behind the hearse and the family vehicles in an easterly direction along Binney Street, and we'll make our way around there in a few minutes' time. Thank you.